Peter Eliades with you. Stock Market Cycles update for Thursday, April 16th. So ask one of your dilettante friends that supposedly follows the stock market, hey, what did the market do today? I don't know. Well, I mean, if you look at the overall market, if you look at the unweighted indexes or the advanced decline line, which was almost 2-to-1 negative, you'd say, well, it was a pretty good down day today. On the other hand, there's always the NASDAQ100 up almost 2% today. Yeah, I know. You don't have to tell me in your remarks, but Peter, that was only a few stocks. I mean, that wasn't everything in the NASDAQ. They didn't do that well. I know, but that's not the point. The point is that the NASDAQ was up almost 2%. And guess what? In this incredible world atmosphere where they turned off the button of commerce a few weeks ago, and you would think that that would have this incredible effect on the stock market, and it did for a few days or maybe a week or two. Guess how far down the NASDAQ is today from its all-time high? Just under 10%. Is that amazing? I mean, it's truly amazing what is going on here. So, in a situation like this, the market can only baffle you. You can only say, I don't know what to think. I mean, what do I think? The Dow is here, the S&P is here, the NDX is there, the advanced decline line is here. Yes, and when markets get fractured like that, it's generally not a good thing. It's not a healthy sign for the market. But those are all subjective feelings about what the market's going to do. You and I have a fabulous tool here. We have our market projections, our cycle projections for the market, and we're going to go over them today. I'm not telling you that they're going to completely clarify the picture for you, but at least you'll know what's going on in terms of the cycle projections. So the first chart, the one you're looking at now, is about the only projection we showed you yesterday. It was the New York Composite Index, and it gave us a lower projection down to at least 10,720 or 10,721 rounded off. Okay? Now, we didn't get down there today. We did have a down day on the New York Composite, which represents all the stocks on the New York Stock Exchange, as opposed to the almost 2% up day in the NDX100. But as a matter of fact, if you look at the intraday low, this is interesting, what happened today, and it closed almost exactly there. Look at this. The intraday, we got down almost exactly to that projected low. But remember, that's a closing projected low. So we can't claim the closing projection was hit, but it did get down there intraday, okay? So I wanted to show that to you. Now let's look. You've heard me say so many times, the New York Composite Index tends to be the most accurate and consistent projection generator. So this is the shortest term projection here. Let's work our way up. This is the normal 20-day projections. Are they met? You bet they are. Look at this. Easily into the projection window, okay? Then we want to look at the nominal 5-week projections, the next longer ones. The offsets here, 12.1 to 13.8 trading days. And we look at this and we see what? Well, we see what we just saw with the other projection. Here we go. 10.912 to 11.349. The high close was 11.172. Right smack dab in the middle of the projection window. So we have both those projections met. The next longer one, which we've been looking at now for a few weeks, is this one. And look what's happening. We did get above the first offset line, and even though I don't like to say projections are given to the upside on a down day, we'll let the projection software tell us what happened. This is a preliminary upside projection. all the way up to 12,945 rounded off. That's not the all-time high, but it's getting up real close to it, okay? So was that confirmed, though? No. You got a lot of work to do because you've got to get up here. And you've got to get above the second offset line, okay? And so we have about, 1, 2, 3 days, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. We stay at this level between those 3 days, you're almost certainly going to get confirmed higher projections. And if we go significantly higher quickly here, we could get significantly higher projections than this preliminary one. Okay? So I wanted to show you those. Now, let's turn to the S&P. That's our money index. Okay. These, I should say, are the important offsets. 24.2 to 27.6, okay? We're obviously above that first offset line. And the S&P, well, you can argue that it has, 1, 2, maybe 2.5 more days, but Friday, Monday, maybe. But if that's the case, then you've got to decline really, really sharply in order to keep below these offset lines. So I wanted to show this to you because in the overnight market tonight, let's take a look at the S&P future, symbol at ES, okay? Now, I can't guarantee you they're going to stay up here overnight, but look at this. If we close anywhere near there tomorrow, Friday, you're going to have given and confirmed nominal 10-week projections to new all-time highs. This is the preliminary one here, 3403.50, but if we close at a higher level above the second offset, then the upper part of that projection will be even higher. So what do you make of that? I mean, what do you make of this world that we're living in? They turned off the buttons. There is not a commercial business venture in the world now, and we're not talking about the United States, in the world that is in complete operation now. Oh yeah, the essentials, the markets, and whatever, whose ever subjective judgment it is that something is essential. Liquor is essential, but guns are not, and this is essential, but that is not. Okay, but 90% of the businesses in the world are closed for business. I guess the stock market loves that. It's giving new all-time high projections. Are you serious? So, I know I'm being overly dramatic here perhaps, but when the market's telling you something completely different than what you're seeing with your eyes in the real world, that's what makes the market such a magical thing, so difficult to understand, okay? So if we stay up here tomorrow in the S&P and close there, then we're going to have new all-time high projections, okay? You can believe it, you cannot believe it. Personally, I find it really, really hard to believe. But I never mistrust my projections. I know they're not always met. But in order to invalidate this now, if we close anywhere near here on the cash tomorrow, because remember, this is the overnight futures now, and they are up 85 points as I'm showing you this chart. So they're about 85 points higher than where the S&P cash closed today, Thursday. But if we close anywhere near here tomorrow, this is going to be the upside projection minimum. It's almost unbelievable. Again, I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to look at it and say, okay, you know what? That's the projection, and I believe it until it's either achieved or invalidated. Okay? So, that's where we stand. Now, if we just look at the New York Composite, the way it closed today, it's got a little bit lower to go on a short-term projection. It's reached all outstanding upside projections that have been confirmed, and no higher projections have been confirmed. So you can make a bearish argument from the New York Composite. It's a little bit more difficult to do with what we see happening overnight tonight. But that's why, again, the next couple of days become very important. But from what I see now, my opinion is switching its lean from getting potentially very bearish to getting more neutral and leaning into more bullish territory, not from what I feel personally, but from what I see on the projection charts. And that's where we stand at the close of Thursday, April 16th, 2020. We will talk to you on the weekend, perhaps tomorrow, but before Sunday night sometime. Have a great weekend.